I'm pretty sure every person that has completed Red Dead Redemption 2 will know that Chapter 4 is the epitome of hopping on a call with your supervisor hoping for that raise you were promised only to get fired and have a redundancy shoved down your throat. Despite all this, the playthrough is still unaltered as I continue to stab enemies like they're cling film on last night's leftovers. Can you beat Red Dead Redemption 2 Chapter 4 with the Charles Smith Loadout? After we successfully removed the tenants from the property, like a landlord who has a more violent view of tenants' rights, I went into Saint Denis to find out about Angelo Bronte, the man who took Jack. After walking into a bar that made me feel about as welcomed as a turd in a beef stroganoff, and indirectly but briefly stopped the spread of a venereal disease, I sauntered over to the bar to order a whiskey and asked the bartender about Bronte. Apparently, Bronte's name carries the same weight as fucking Voldemort, which led to a drunk man stating his thoughts on the immigration policies, and if I wanted to know where Bronte lived, I had to ask an ungrateful little shit called Cleet. Cleet is a massive prick who steals your satchel and is somehow immune to bullets. Cleet gave up the information I needed, and I met up with John and Dutch. We approached Bronte's house, and Dutch adopted the same doorstep manner as an Amazon Prime delivery driver that was refused the homeowner's toilet one too many times and starts assaulting the occupants. We met Bronte, and other than giving off a vibe that we just walked onto the set of Martin Scorsese's next film, and the fact he kidnapped a fucking child, he was quite reasonable. In return for Jack, John and I rode to the cemetery to kill a few grave robbers that could have been ancestors of the next door neighbour who doesn't keep the fucking noise down. But at least the ancestors were considerate to only disturb the already dead rather than the rest of us that have work the next morning. We stole their stash and escaped the graveyard, returned to Bronte's house and picked up Jack. Rode back to camp and everyone wanted to have a party to celebrate Jack's return, and I quickly stated that I couldn't give a shit and went to bed. Spoke to Mary Beth the next morning and Grimshaw butted in to say that Tilly had also been kidnapped. Why does everyone in this gang go missing quicker than a pen lid that was dropped on the floor? Seriously, we might have to invoke a buddy system because this is getting fucking ridiculous. We arrived at the house Tilly was held in, and Grimshaw came up with a convoluted plan to lower the guard, which involved trying to flirt with him even though a heavily armed man that specializes in close-quarter red paint dispensary was next to her. And Grimshaw flirting is about as convincing as a Labrador trying to blend in with a row of fucking ducks. Honestly, just executing the twat was simpler and a lot more efficient as we focused more on the pressing matter of our friend being held hostage. Cleared the house and the leader ran away, so Grimshaw and I chased him down. Despite Grimshaw with a revolver is more terrifying than a monkey that's self-aware and firing off rounds right next to my ear trying to turn me into the main character from Baby Driver. Anyway, the leader of the kidnapping was kidnapped and we dropped him off along with the irony, and stabbed him because that's one less loose end. We were invited to a party and Dutch told us to go make some new friends in higher society, and I try not to come across as a guy trying to fit in with the cool people whilst hiding his coin collection. Kicked a drunk guy out of the party and made friends with the mayor. Followed his servant to his study to steal some information. Bit weird how he left the door open to a room that has sensitive documents in it, but there you go. Met up with the others and left the party. After seeing a horse trying to act nonchalant as if it snuck out the house when its parents weren't watching, I met Rainsfall and Eagle Flies, and they want me to infiltrate an oil site and steal some documents. Met Eagle Flies at the oil site to state what I already need to do. Jumped onto a wagon after running face first into it. Again, the guards having the same perception of a fucking lamppost. Infiltrated the site and snuck into an office to speak to a guy called Danbury. We had a lovely chat and he kindly offered the documents I needed. Jumped out the window and landed right in front of 3 enemies like I just got caught with my hand stuck in a jam jar, and started decorating the site with dead bodies. Escaped the area, gave Eagle Flies the documents and left. Met with Trelawney, told me I looked less presentable than a bed in a rather low-rated hotel. Bought an outfit, looking just short of cannon fodder for a gang based in 1920s Birmingham. Mind you, under all the mud, grit, brooding, bloody entrails and a rather out-of-control hedge growing on my face, I looked handsome as fuck. Met with Javier and Strauss and we boarded a riverboat. Hopefully it won't end the same way when you let on board a raving lunatic that Mr. Blobby might tell to chill the fuck out, and a megalomaniac with delusions of grandeur asking why everyone's being a dick to him, trying to come across as some kind of fucked up version of Mr. Rogers. Wandered into the casino, joined a game with a guy called Desmond, and he couldn't have a more inflated ego if a motivational speaker used a bicycle pump. Stole his money, making him look like a ripe penis, and went upstairs to collect the winnings. And this posh tit thought it would be a good idea to start being racist towards an unstable yet likeable individual that's carrying a lever-action firearm. He opened the vault, I took his gun that he showed us earlier, but then the game saw this heist as going way too fucking smoothly, so the manager just decided to pull out another gun out of his arse. Anyway, I tried to disarm him by shooting the gun out of his hand, But unsurprisingly, those days at the orgy paid off as he had the grip strength of a man who felt like he was missing out. Restarted the mission, shot the guy in the face this time, grabbed the goods, and returned to the party. Despite the two of us trying to act like nothing was wrong, and inadvertently, fuck you, whoever came up with that word, and inadvertently drawing more attention than an artist that wants validation. We started a shootout, and Javier chucked me a weapon that he should have really held onto since a gun in this playthrough is useless. With the help of mods, I spawned a bow and started shooting arrows into the genitals of people who don't get paid enough for this shit. Jumped off the boat and swam to shore, lucky to find out that the alligators were on some kind of national bank holiday and couldn't be asked with the overtime. Back at camp, Dutch and I planned the trolley heist, and then Kieran returned after he had gone missing for a while. And obviously the rest of us didn't give 2 tiny grains of shit about him missing, but there you go. The O'Driscolls attacked and we had to defend ourselves. Dutch told me to stop camping and go join the fight. We barricaded ourselves in and defended the house. Heard Sadie screaming, so I went to help her, but in the end I didn't know why I bothered. And apart from me dying a couple of times, we chased the rest of the O'Driscolls out of the camp and looked upon Kieran. Decapitated, mutilated, he died horribly. Scared, alone, a fate worse for any outlaw. And he died still owing me $10, but I guess I'll get over it. I've got to keep it together, unlike Kieran's body. Lenny, Dutch and I robbed the trolley station, but found out we would have found more money in a wheelie bin. Bronte sold us out and we jumped onto a tram. And I started firing my shotgun and had the same attitude towards reloading shotguns as Herschel Green from The Walking Dead. We ended up in a 6-lane pile-up and fought our way to the wagon. Reached a roadblock, Lenny threw a stick of dynamite and I shot it with my shotgun, which is known for its unbelievable range and accuracy. Totted up our take from the heist that wouldn't be enough to afford a meal deal from Tesco's. Dutch wants to get paid back at Bronte for the trolley job, so after a head-on collision with an uninsured rider, we went swimming with alligators. To clarify, we are helping some guy with a boat so that he can help us with his boat. Went out to find his business partner that's surrounded by a bunch of hungry reptiles. Found the boat, we all got in, rowed back to safety. We got snagged by some root or a simple convenience. You know, something the writers put in. The guy we saved went out to pull the boat and he got pulled under. I found him, but I couldn't find his ACL. Shot at the giant swamp puppy who thinks he's playing a game of fetch, and made it back to shore. The next morning, we got John, Bill, and Lenny to join us to infiltrate Bronte's home. Dutch gave Bill shit for having PTSD, and we made it to Bronte's. Fought our way to the main house, blew out his back door after a couple more close-quarter encounters involving shooting an arrow at a guy and the force took him out the fucking window. We found Bronte, and he was all too happy to see us. Made our escape with Bronte captured. Dutch fucked with him for a bit before drowning him. Rest of the gang regrouped to rob the main bank in Saint Denis. Sorry. We entered the bank, cracked the vault, stole the money, then things started to shit sideways. Hosea found a cure for his illness. I was spoilt for choice on what to shoot my arrows at. Dutch started freaking out and asked me to blow a hole in the wall, which I did. Ran out, started embodying my inner Hawkeye and finishing off enemies from above. We all made it to the rooftop except for John. Lenny and I ran across the rooftops to find a way out until he was introduced to gunshots that embody the whole "we knew you were going to be here without probable cause." We ran across the rooftops and made it to safety. We all came to the same conclusion that things at the moment are a bit fucking shit. We waited until nightfall and tried reaching the docks for a boat. Charles distracted the guards next to the boat and we made it onto the boat. And that's it for chapter 4. If you'd like to see more, let me know in the comments, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I hope you look forward to the next one.